relationship? I feel like we've seen so much with you over the years with her.
Vulnerability. I'm naturally vulnerable, and she loves that about me. And so
The screen fades in with that familiar phrase, previously on Sister Wives. But this time the words cut like glass. We are no longer watching a show about unity, about the dream of one man balancing love across 4 households. We are staring into the ruins of a family that once claimed to be built on faith, love, and shared sacrifice. Well, it's fragments, broken trust, words said that cannot be unsaid, grief that cannot be undone. And yet, in Season 20's opening moments, we hear the unthinkable. Kody Brown, once the loudest defender of polygamy, once the man who insisted this life was his calling, asks in a trembling voice, "Will you accept me as monogamous?" The irony is suffocating. For decades, this man demanded loyalty from 4 women, shaming them if they questioned his authority, demanding obedience in the name of family. Now, after driving them away, after choosing one wife above all the rest, he asks for acceptance as if it's simply owed to him. Robyn doesn't answer right away. She lets the silence hang, her eyes swimming with tears that blur the line between manipulation and sincerity. She has always known her power. And she knows that this moment is the final admission of what fans at home and the other wives in real life have seen for years. Kody was never truly polygamous with his heart. The confession that changed everything. "I keep thinking that you and I could make this work," Kody pleads. "What about you and me?" His words are almost desperate. A man clinging to the last branch of a tree that has already fallen. He's no longer speaking like the husband of 4 wives. He's speaking like a man who has lost nearly everything, his family, his children, and his reputation, and is begging one woman to validate the scraps of what's left. Robyn whispers back, "That's not what I wanted." And in that single sentence, a decade of secrets unravel. Because if monogamy was never her dream, then what was it? Was it control? Status? The legal marriage that elevated her above Christine, Janelle, and Meri? Fans have asked these questions for years. Now the cracks are undeniable. The ghost of Garrison, but woven through these tense conversations, is another haunting presence. The loss of Garrison Brown. When Christine quietly says in her confessional, "Our first year was really tough. It was the passing of Garrison that was really tough," her voice trembles. And in that moment, all the arguments, all the property fights, all the screaming about loyalty and betrayal, collapse under the weight of a mother's grief. "I miss him every day," she whispers. Every single day. Her new husband, David, reaches for her hand, grounding her. Their love is solid, a contrast to the chaos she left behind. But no amount of new happiness can erase the grief of burying a child. No new marriage can replace the son she lost. The camera lingers on her tears, and for a moment, Sister Wives isn't about plural marriage or breakups or drama. It's about loss. The kind of loss that leaves everyone gasping for air. The kind of loss that forced this family, no matter how divided, to stand side by side at a funeral in Wyoming. And it is here in Season 20's opening that we see how grief still binds and breaks them. Janelle's isolation far away in North Carolina. Janelle begins her segment with quiet strength. She walks through a small town, describing the seasons she now cherishes. Autumn leaves, winter snow, spring blossoms. But beneath her calm words is a wound that has not healed. She admits that her relationship with Kody is nearly non-existent. "Once in a blue moon I talk to him," she says. "And once, even more rare, I talk to Meri. With Meri we really do struggle to talk. I don't blame her, but it doesn't make life easy. It's raw, it's quiet, but it's devastating." Because Janelle was the steady one, the pragmatic one, the peacemaker who always tried to smooth the rough edges of Kody's chaos. And now she stands alone, her marriage shattered, her trust betrayed, her children scarred by the same man who once promised them the world. The show cuts to Maddie's voice, recalling a moment of cruelty. "Dad said he didn't love you." Janelle's face hardens, but her eyes shimmer with the tears of a woman who has heard too many rejections, too many cold words from a man who was supposed to protect, cherish, and fight for her. Christine's joy, Christine's pain. Meanwhile, Christine beams with joy as she cooks in her kitchen. Tuscan white bean soup bubbles on the stove as she laughs with David about their first year of marriage. "It's been good," she says. "I think when you're older you don't sweat the small stuff." But the smile falters when she admits what made it hard. Garrison's death. Her voice catches, her laughter disappears, and suddenly the room feels heavy again. Because this is the reality of moving forward after tragedy. Happiness and sorrow live side by side. She says softly, I love being married. But I miss him every day. And at night when the house is quiet or a picture of him pops up on my phone, I'm not good. I fall apart. The juxtaposition is heartbreaking. Christine found her freedom, her soulmate, her joy. And yet grief doesn't care. It follows you into new kitchens, into new marriages, into new seasons of life. Meri's awakening in Parowan. Meri stands outside her B&B, her hair whipping in the wind. She reflects on her solitude, half proud, half weary. It's been about a year and a half since I've been here at the B&B, she says. Things are good. I like my life. But underneath her words is something deeper, an awakening. She admits she once sought a spiritual divorce, not even realizing it was possible until Christine paved the way. And when she finally took that step, something inside her shifted. The woman who once clung to Kody's rejection, who once sat silently waiting for scraps of affection, is now learning to stand in her own power. I've got good relationships with some members of the family, she admits. With others, almost non-existent. It's bittersweet, but it's real. Meri is no longer pretending. She is no longer waiting for Kody to choose her. She is choosing herself. Coyote Pass, the symbol of betrayal, and then as if on cue the cursed land reappears. Coyote Pass. Kody, standing in the dry Arizona dust, complains that Janelle and Meri left behind a mess for him to clean up. He huffs and points at old RV equipment, blaming them for his burden. It's not my stuff, Janelle fires back in her confessional. It's his. He just doesn't want to deal with it. The property, once the symbol of unity, is now a battlefield of resentment. A reminder of broken promises and financial lies. Christine laughs from afar, pointing out the irony. Isn't he all about fairness? Oh no, only when it applies to Kody Brown. Coyote Pass has become more than land. It is the physical embodiment of their failed dream. A dream buried in the dirt, never to be resurrected. The children's plea, perhaps the most devastating moment of this opening, comes when the cameras cut to the next generation. My aunts, you want your dad to show up. You want reconciliation. But I'm angry. And I'm angry because I'm still learning not to be disappointed. The voice trembles, breaking as if each word costs energy. This isn't reality TV drama. This is a child's cry. A cry of abandonment, of wanting love, of realizing their father cannot give what he doesn't have. And then Kody's own confessional plays. I would really love to have a better relationship with my children than I had with those ex-wives. It's about survival. It's about grief, betrayal, and the cost of a man's pride. Christine is healing but haunted. Janelle is strong but isolated. Meri is free but scarred. Robyn is holding on to the last strands of a marriage built on control. And Kody? He is unraveling before our eyes. The Brown family is no longer one family. It is pieces of a broken empire, stitched together by cameras and confessionals. And yet, as painful as it is, fans can't look away. Because this isn't just a reality show anymore. It's a study of love gone wrong. It's the story of how power, favoritism, and pride can destroy even the deepest bonds. Here at Brown House Secrets, we'll continue unraveling every moment of this journey, exposing the truth behind the scenes, and giving voice to the heartbreak that TLC can only show in fragments. This is just the beginning. The air is thick when Kody's words echo. Will you accept me as monogamous? It's more than a question. It's an admission, a plea, a surrender. For decades, Kody preached that plural marriage was a sacred calling. He insisted that his faith, his vision, and his leadership were divinely inspired. He demanded loyalty, demanded sacrifice, demanded that his wives bend to the vision he claimed came from God. But now that same man looks small, almost broken as he stares at Robyn. His hair hangs wild, his eyes dart with desperation, and his voice cracks in a way viewers have rarely heard. It is the sound of a man realizing that the empire he built is ashes, and only one wife remains to witness the collapse. Robyn sits quietly. She doesn't jump to comfort him. She doesn't scream or cry. She waits. And in that pause, the entire audience feels the truth. Robyn holds all the power now. A marriage of unequal weight. I've said it so many times, Kody, Robyn finally answers. This is not what I wanted. I didn't come into this marriage for monogamy. Her words slice through the silence. Because Robyn knows exactly what she's saying, and what she's not saying. She didn't come into this marriage expecting to be Kody's only wife. But she also knows that by now she is his only wife. Janelle is gone, Christine is remarried, Meri is emotionally severed. Robyn may deny it on camera, but the truth plays out in every frame. Kody's heart, his time, his energy, his obsession have always funneled toward her. The other women said it for years. Now in season 20 Robyn finally admits it herself. And yet there is no triumph in her tone. There is weariness. Because being the last wife standing doesn't look like a victory anymore. It looks like a burden. The collapse of faith. What makes this exchange even more jarring is the spiritual backdrop. Kody once claimed that God called him to this path. That his plural family was chosen, set apart, destined to be an example. His wives, his children, his sacrifices, he framed it all as holy work. But sitting here now, his confession strips all of that away. I don't know if I ever believed in it the way I said I did, he mutters. Talking. Fans gasp. Even Robyn looks startled. Because for years, Kody lashed out at Christine, Janelle, and Meri for questioning polygamy. He accused them of betrayal, of selfishness, of not being faithful enough. And yet here he is, admitting that maybe he was the one who never believed. This revelation doesn't just fracture the family, it fractures the narrative of the entire show. Robyn's tears. The cameras close in on Robyn's face, her mascara smudged, her breathing heavy. I didn't want this, she says again, this time sobbing. I wanted sisterhood. I wanted family. I wanted unity. Not this. But viewers have learned to watch Robyn carefully. Are these tears born of heartbreak? Or are they another tool of control? Because even as she cries, she carefully reminds the audience and Kody that she was the one who wanted polygamy. She was the one who tried. It's a brilliant move. If she looks like the victim, she maintains sympathy. If she insists that she wanted the dream, she avoids being labeled as the one who ended it. But fans see the truth. They always have. The other wives react. Meanwhile, the other wives watch these moments back later in their confessionals. And the reactions are cutting. Christine shakes her head, almost laughing in disbelief. Now he says he wants to be monogamous? After everything? After years of ignoring me, shaming me, telling me to just accept that he wasn't in love with me? And now it's okay because Robyn gets to be the only one? I mean, come on. Her voice hardens and the laughter dies. It's insulting. To all of us. To everything we gave up, everything we endured. He gets to rewrite the rules now after he's destroyed us. Janelle, more measured, still bristles with anger. I think he's just trying to save face. He doesn't have the wives anymore, so of course he has to act like he wanted monogamy all along. It's a way to justify what happened instead of admitting he favored Robyn from the start. And Meri? Her silence is almost louder than her words. She stares at the camera for a long time before whispering, "That's not the man I married. That's not the life I was promised." He keeps changing the story, but the truth is I was disposable to him long before he admitted it. The children's pain. The most heartbreaking response comes from the children. Paydon, in his own segment, says bluntly, "So Dad finally admits he just wants Robyn. Cool. We all already knew. The problem isn't that he wants monogamy. The problem is that he lied about it for years and broke our moms in the process." Gabriel's pain is sharper. His voice shakes. "I don't even care about polygamy or monogamy. I just wanted a dad. I just wanted him to call me, to care, to show up. He didn't. And now he says it was never what he wanted. Then what were we? What was I?" It's gut-wrenching. These are not just adult women facing betrayal. These are children left with questions that can never be answered. Robyn's control tightens in private. Kody and Robyn's dynamic grows more disturbing. Kody leans into her, saying, "I'll do whatever it takes. Just, don't leave me." Robyn doesn't rush to reassure him. Instead, she sits quietly, her eyes darting away. It's a subtle but powerful choice. Because in that moment, Kody is the one begging. The man who once controlled the narrative, the marriages, the money, is now reduced to pleading for scraps of affection from the woman he crowned as his favorite. And Robyn knows it. She may cry on camera, but off camera the control is clear. She holds the keys to his last shred of dignity. And whether she wants monogamy or not, she knows that Kody has nowhere else to go. The legacy of hypocrisy. Fans of Brown House Secrets know this truth better than anyone. Kody's monogamy confession isn't just about Robyn. It's about years of hypocrisy finally catching up to him. He told Christine she was selfish when she wanted out. He told Janelle she was disloyal when she questioned him. He told Meri she was unworthy when she begged for his attention. And yet, in the end, he admits that maybe he never wanted this life at all. It's not just betrayal. It's erasure. Everything these women sacrificed, every moment of jealousy swallowed, every child raised in a fractured home, every dollar put into Coyote Pass, was for a dream that Kody himself didn't believe in. That's the real heartbreak. Not that he chose Robyn, but that he wasted everyone else's lives chasing a lie. The shocking cliffhanger: the episode ends with Kody and Robyn sitting in silence. The cameras zoom in as Kody whispers again, almost too soft to hear, "Please just accept me." Robyn wipes her tears. She doesn't answer. The silence lingers. And then, as the screen fades to black, we hear her voice in a confessional, "I don't know if I can do this anymore." The shock ripples through the audience. For years fans assumed Robyn would never leave. That she had what she wanted, Kody all to herself, the legal marriage, the control. But now, with the family gone and the dream dead, is even Robyn second-guessing what she fought so hard to win? The Brown family has never felt more fragile. And the drama has never felt more real. Brown House Secrets commentary here at Brown House Secrets. We break through the surface. What we're watching isn't just reality TV. It's the unraveling of a man, the awakening of women who were once silenced, and the haunting grief of children who deserved so. Christine Brown once lived in the shadows of neglect, silenced by a husband who rarely gave her the dignity of being heard. But in Season 20 Episode 1, she steps onto the screen as a woman transformed. No longer the wife fighting for scraps of affection, Christine is radiant, confident, and unapologetically living a life she built with her own two hands. Her segment of the episode opens with the warmth of her home in Utah. The laughter of her children fills the air, and beside her is David Woolley, the man who has embraced her with the kind of steady love that was always denied to her in Flagstaff. The contrast is striking. Kody's home is filled with chaos, distrust, and suspicion, while Christine's world has blossomed into a sanctuary of healing. Christine speaks directly to the camera, her eyes brimming with honesty. She admits that there are still scars, memories that sting when she thinks of the years she begged for attention that never came. But then she smiles, that contagious, resilient smile fans have come to adore, and she says, "I've finally learned that love doesn't have to hurt. Love can be safe, it can be kind, it can be full. And I will never again accept anything less." The producers lean into this contrast, cutting from Christine's joy-filled kitchen to Robyn's tear-stained confessional, where she laments that the family has abandoned her. Viewers are left with no illusions. Christine's liberation stands as proof that Robyn's sorrow is not born of betrayal, but of control slipping through her fingers. Then comes Janelle's story, raw, layered with grief, but anchored in resilience. Sitting in her living room, photos of her children lining the mantel, Janelle's voice cracks as she talks about Garrison's death. She admits that some days she still can't breathe under the weight of the loss. Her son's laughter echoes in her memory, his absence leaving a void that no words can ever fill. But Janelle is not a woman who gives up. Even in grief, she rises. She speaks with a quiet power when she tells the camera, "Garrison wouldn't want me stuck in pain. He'd want me to live. He'd want me to fight. And I will fight, for myself, for my kids, for the truth of what really happened in this family." The editors allow the silence to linger after her words, the screen heavy with emotion. And then we see it, clips of Janelle spending time with her children, cooking with Savannah, sharing memories with Logan, laughing with Madison. These are not just reality TV moments. These are reminders that even after devastation, life continues, and love in its truest form heals. The brilliance of this episode lies in how it juxtaposes the women's growth with Kody's unraveling. Christine and Janelle's voices are steady, empowered, unafraid. Meanwhile, Kody appears defensive, bitter, and hollow, clinging to a version of family that no longer exists. In one of the most striking scenes, Christine reflects on her years of silence. She says, "When I left, people told me I was breaking the family apart. But I see now I wasn't breaking it. It was already broken. I was just finally walking away from the pieces." Those words hang in the air like a verdict, not just on Kody but on the entire polygamous system that failed these women. For viewers, Part 3 of Episode 1 is a masterclass in contrast. The radiant resilience of Christine, the quiet strength of Janelle, and the dark unraveling of the man who once controlled them both. It's no longer about sister wives fighting for survival under one man's roof. It's about women stepping into their own power, redefining family, and showing the world that healing is possible, even after betrayal, even after loss. And as the credits roll on this segment, one thing becomes clear. Christine and Janelle are no longer supporting characters in Kody's story. They are the authors of their own. If there is one story that has lived too long in the shadows, it is Meri Brown's. For years she was the quiet presence. The first wife, the one who held her tongue while the others clashed, the one who remained loyal even when her heart was breaking. She built the foundation of the Brown family only to be abandoned on it. In Season 20 Episode 1, Meri finally begins to step into her own light. Her confessionals are different this time. There's a weariness in her tone, yes, but also a sharpened edge, a refusal to continue hiding behind the good wife mask she wore for decades. Meri recalls the years of silence, the way Kody dismissed her with words that cut deeper than any blade. She doesn't sugarcoat it anymore. She says plainly, "I was discarded. I was left to figure out my worth on my own. For a long time I believed I didn't have any. But I was wrong." It's a haunting moment, because fans remember Kody's words in past seasons. His infamous claim that he had no interest in having a relationship with her. That public rejection humiliated Meri on national television. And while Kody may have wanted those words to be the end of her story, this season proves they were only the beginning. Meri's pain is not just about neglect. It's about betrayal. For years she stood by Kody, believing that loyalty meant endurance. But loyalty in her case was repaid with exile. The episode subtly highlights this betrayal by intercutting Meri's reflections with clips of Robyn gaining Kody's full attention, her every tear and complaint met with his undivided devotion. The message is unmissable. Kody chose. And he did not choose Meri. And yet, rather than wallowing in bitterness, Meri's tone is steady. Her words pierce because they are calm, not frantic. She admits the heartbreak, yes, but then she says something that electrifies the screen. "I gave decades of my life to this family, and I'll never get those years back. But what I do have, finally, is me. My voice. My life. And I will not waste another day waiting for someone who does not value me." For the first time, Meri's silence becomes her strength. The woman once dismissed as the lonely wife now radiates power, not because she's shouting but because she's refusing to play the game. The producers lean into her awakening, showing her walking through her inn in Parowan, Utah. She smiles as she greets guests, she laughs with friends, she moves through her own space with confidence. These shots are more than filler. They are visual proof that Meri is building a future outside of the Brown family's broken system. And yet her story in Episode 1 is not without sting. She admits that the betrayal still lingers in her bones. She talks about the nights she lay awake, asking herself what was wrong with her, why she wasn't enough. She recalls moments where she watched Kody pour his energy into Robyn's children, while her own dreams and needs sat in the background, ignored. But then, with a kind of clarity that only comes after years of pain, she says, "The truth is, I was always enough. He just couldn't see it. That's not my burden to carry anymore." The audience feels it, a collective exhale. For Meri, this is not just about leaving Kody. It's about leaving behind the lie that she was somehow unworthy of love, respect, or partnership. Episode 1 makes it clear. Meri is no longer the ghost in Kody's story. She is the woman who rose from the ashes of betrayal, ready to live without chains. And as the scene closes, a single line captures the essence of her journey. "I lost my marriage, but I found myself. And that is a trait I will never regret." The silence that once suffocated Meri has become her power. And for the first time in years, the world is finally listening. If there is one piece of earth that carries the weight of every broken promise, every shattered dream, and every bitter argument in this family, it's Coyote Pass. The land was supposed to be a legacy, a vision of unity. It was Kody's dream, sold to his wives as the promised land. A place where they would all live side by side in harmony, their children raised together, their futures intertwined. But in Season 20 Episode 1, Coyote Pass is no longer a dream. It's a graveyard of trust. The cameras pan across the empty acres, littered with rusted trailers, abandoned building materials, and dust that blows like ash over what should have been a thriving homestead. What was once hope is now nothing more than a haunting reminder of everything that fell apart. Janelle's voice echoes over the footage, weary but firm. She says what viewers have known for years. It was never about building a family. It was about Kody keeping control. And when that control slipped through his fingers, the land became just another weapon. The blame game unfolds brutally in this episode. Kody insists that Janelle left behind her mess at Kody Pass, claiming that she dumped responsibility on him. His tone is bitter, defensive, and dripping with self-pity. But Janelle's truth cuts deeper. She makes it clear that the land was never hers to clean, never hers to carry. She reminds the audience that she poured money into this dream, her money, her sacrifices, while Kody played favorites and funneled resources elsewhere. Her words are quiet, but they burn. He wanted my investments. He never wanted my dreams. And then there's Robyn. Her presence in the Kody Pass storyline is telling. She avoids the land, avoids the conversation, avoids the reality of the family's collapse. The episode shows her sitting in her Flagstaff mansion, saying little, her silence almost an admission of guilt. Because fans know, her house was bought, her security was insured, while the other wives were left hanging, waiting for land that never became a home. Meri, in her confessionals, adds a sharp observation. She refuses to let Kody twist the narrative anymore. She says flatly, he talks about fairness. But fairness only applies when it benefits Kody. When it comes to us, there was never fairness. Not with the land. Not with the love. Not with anything. The editors drive the point home by replaying Kody's old speeches. His promises that each wife would have her place, his insistence that the land was the future of their family. Then the screen cuts back to the present. Barren land, no homes, no family, no unity. Just dust. Just emptiness. Kody Pass is no longer a project. It is a symbol of greed, of favoritism, of broken leadership. And perhaps the most shocking moment comes when Christine, speaking from her new life in Utah, reflects on what the land really represented. Her voice trembles as she says, I think deep down we all knew it wasn't about us. It was about him. And the saddest part is, we believed him. We believed him for too long. By the end of the segment, viewers don't see land anymore. They see wreckage. They see the ashes of a family's future that was never built. And as Kody continues to deflect, to blame, to play the victim, the truth becomes undeniable. Kody Pass didn't just fail. It destroyed them. The dream is dead. And with it, so is the illusion of unity that held the Brown family together. The episode begins with silence. Not just the silence of a studio, not just the silence of a set waiting for cameras to roll, but a silence thick with weight. The kind of silence that carries history, betrayal, and regret. The lights flicker on and there he sits, Kody Brown. His golden curls are thinner now, his face more etched with lines than we remember, his eyes burning not with charm but with something darker, desperation. He leans forward in the chair and the words come out almost rehearsed, almost like a script he's been practicing in front of a mirror. He says he longs for healing. Healing with Janelle. Healing with Meri. Healing even with Christine, who has long since walked away from him. But as he speaks, his voice doesn't match the words. There's no warmth, no softness. Only sharpness, as if healing is not about forgiveness but about control. He declares, I want healing. I want to fix things with the wives. I want to repair what's been broken. To the casual viewer it sounds noble. To the trained eye, it reeks of desperation. Because this is not about healing. It is about losing power. For decades, Kody thrived on control. He was the center, the leader, the one who decided where they lived, how they loved, what future they chased. But now, he is no longer the center. Christine has built her own life, Janelle has found her voice, and even Meri, the wife who clung to him the longest, has stepped back from his orbit. For the first time in his life, Kody is a man without command. And so, he dresses his fear in the language of healing. The episode cleverly juxtaposes his confessional with flashbacks. The editors know the audience remembers and they want us to. They show him in past seasons, raising his voice, dismissing his wife's feelings, declaring his devotion to Robyn while leaving the others in emotional starvation. They remind us of his cruelty to Janelle during the pandemic, his rejection of Gabriel and Garrison, his coldness toward Meri when she begged for scraps of affection. The audience doesn't need to be told outright. The footage tells the truth. Kody does not want healing. He wants restoration of the throne he built for himself. And then comes the irony, the deepest cut. As he speaks of healing, he simultaneously throws out blame. He accuses Janelle of holding grudges, Christine of poisoning the family with negativity, Meri of refusing to move forward. Every word of healing is tied to an accusation, a backhanded swipe, a reminder that in Kody's world, reconciliation only happens on his terms. It is emotional whiplash. The wives in their confessionals are not